Hey folks, welcome to Deer Corner. Glad to see you with me. My favorite part of the month. Coming into the 1st of October into September, making sure all my bills are paid. Everything's up to date, getting ready to head up to Kentucky. And going to do some pre-rut hunting. And that is exactly, to me, is the hardest time to hunt, pre-rut. Now, if I didn't do any homework and any scouting this spring and this summer, I wouldn't be knowing what the bucks are doing, where they're going or where they're traveling, how big they are, how many there are. But the pre-rut hunt, you have to do your homework. And there's nothing like sitting in the stand opening day and don't see a buck. Nothing like sitting in your stand for a couple weeks and don't see a buck. And that's because you didn't get out and do your homework. Didn't get out and scout, didn't get out and watch. And I watched a YouTube the other night to where a man was talking about the rut. And I started laughing. I had to laugh at it. I didn't comment on it. I should have sent a comment, but I don't like sending comments like that. I'll watch it, and I don't like sending bad comments to people. That's not right. But he made the comment, the rut starts on October 1st and goes out January 1st. Well, there's no truth in that at all. None. And where we're hunting up there on our property up there, this summer, I think it was April the 5th, we seen a fawn. And it was pretty young. I would say it was within a week, maybe 2 weeks old. And sitting back, and when a doe takes to the time she gives birth, it's roughly 180 to 200 days. And so I use a 190 day. So I take the date when we seen that fawn, I kind of get a pretty good idea how old the fawn is, and I add and back up 190 days. And that put that doe come in estrus or heat around the 1st of November, the end of October. And that's where scouting comes in. You kind of figure out when the rut begins. And a rut does not begin until your first doe in your area comes in heat. That is it, R-U-T, rut, breeding season. Now your pre-rut is before that. Now 20 miles down the road, a man may be right. Yeah, the rut's in. There may be a doe that came in estrus or heat, if you want to call it either way, may have come in 20 miles down the road. Now his rut started, but yours hasn't, not in your area yet. You may have does that come in late. And that's the rutting season. From when your first doe comes in heat or estrus, and when your last doe comes in estrus or heat, that is your rut period. And it can only be 3 weeks. It can only be 4 weeks in your area. Now, it is seen and known that sometimes, very rarely, a doe will come in estrus for a couple days and go out. But then a couple weeks later come back in. That's very rare. And a lot of misbelief there is that a doe will come in estrus and then she'll stay till she's bred. No, she don't. 3 to 7 days, that's about it. She'll come in, 3 to 7 days, go out, and that's it for the year. If she gets bred, she gets bred. If she don't, she don't. And there again, you'll hear a lot of people talk about your doe-buck ratio. And that is something that we are working on quite a bit, because we've been noticing a lot of does that didn't conceive. And we have more does than what the bucks can handle. Now, if a buck is following a doe, chasing a doe, been after a doe for a day or two, she's ready to go, and another doe comes in, and she goes in estrus, or heat, and he catches that. Now that buck will not go after that newer doe. He's already worn this doe down. He's going to stick with that doe till they breed, and then he'll go after the other doe. Or that other doe may walk on and won't get bred. And a lot of the hunters today go out the first of the year, and the first thing on their mind is to kill the bucks. Well, I'm opposite of that. I'm going to go out, I'm going to shoot does. I'm going to let the bucks breed, at least the first 30 days, when our rut starts. And then, like I said, up there, we do know we will be in the end of November. We do know we'll have a doe that will come in the end of November. The end of October, 1st of November. We do know that by what we've seen this summer. And that is a whole lot about hunting bucks on pre-rut. They're hard to hunt. It's the hardest time to hunt. If you don't get out and do your scouting and find them throughout spring and summer, they're different. It's a different hunt. But once that first doe comes in heat, their light bulbs turn on and they change. They'll follow that doe. And that's when you need to know the doe routine. If you don't know the doe routine, when they come in estrus, you won't find them. You won't find the bucks. So it's all about scouting, when you scout and how you scout. But your core bucks, now I call them a core buck, and they're the bucks that I do know that are around my area all the time, constantly. And they're the first bucks that are going to get wind of that doe. And then you have your travel bucks that come through and catch it too. Sometimes you'll have two bucks following one doe. So, and the obvious, of course, the obvious way to find out that the rut's in, you'll see a buck following a doe. That's when you start hunting. That's when you hunt hard. If you see a buck following a doe, that's when you start hunting hard. If you want a buck, you hunt every day. But your scrapes, I've watched videos, people making mock scrapes on a pre-rut. And also, well, I'm going to go back and freshen it up. It won't do no good. Not until your first doe comes in estrus. When that doe comes in estrus, that buck will start hitting them scrapes. He will start leaving his mark. Before then, all he has is a new toy on top of his head. And he's going to hit trees, play with trees, rub on trees. But once that doe comes in heat, estrus, then it becomes a different situation. That light bulb turns on that buck. So if you're out on hunting a pre-rut like right now, if you're out hunting and don't see any bucks, but you're seeing does, you got a good edge right there, because them does are going to come in estrus and the bucks will be following them. So if you're out there, you're seeing does, stay there, stay with them. You're going to see a buck. It's just the rut there hasn't started yet. And it may 20 miles down the road already, but there in your area, no does have came in estrus yet. Hasn't turned the lights on. So for y'all, I hope this helps out a little bit. And one thing too I can bring up. If you see bucks drinking a lot of water, and that is something I've never heard yet, but I'm going to bring it up on this one. It's like a dog sitting there barking over and over and over and over. And you let him in the house and first thing he does is get a drink of water. If you notice a buck drinking water this time of year, you're in rut, because that buck's done been chasing something, and they will stop and drink water. Now that is one key I have found that the rut has started, by watching the bucks come to the water tank and drinking. So you'll see the scrapes opening, you'll see a lot more rubs. They'll just open up, they'll just appear. And you've been trying all pre-rut to get them going, but no good. But all of a sudden, bang, here they are. Good sign that the rut started. So yeah, don't get discouraged if you're not seeing any bucks right now. It's just your rut hasn't started. And I hope this helps you out a little bit. I know we're going up to Kentucky to hunt. It is a pre-rut. I don't believe the rut there in our area is going to come in until the end of October into November. Our mountain property is the same way. Down in our lake down here, we did have a doe the last couple of years that came in the first week of October. She was always early, which stirred things up, but we haven't seen her this summer, so I'm not sure if she's there anymore. But for the last couple of years, the first week of October, she always came in early, which got things started there. But we haven't seen her this summer, so we don't know. So I hope this helps you out a little, and hope to see you again, and I will bring you along on the hunts. And I hope your hunt is going good, and like I always say, if you're in the woods, be safe, and rather be safe than sorry, and I'll see you next time.